Hey everybody, I'm your host Chris, K-R-I-S, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to my channel if you're new. This is the Resident Evil 3 State of Play announcement trailer. I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. If you are returning to my channel, then you definitely know how much of a Resi fan I am. I play through the games constantly, several times a week nearly, on Twitch. So we've had a long history with this game series. You know, we have a very long history. Resident Evil 3 was my favorite for the longest time. Right now, it's the classic Resi 1. I'm really enjoying returning to that over and over. But always loved 3, always loved Nemesis. And the other day, after the leaks for this game was released, I did a 5.5 hour stream where we talked very slowly about everything we wanted and everything we expected, and some of the potential disappointments. Because I am a Resident Evil fan, and when I say that, I mean that in the sense of I ain't gonna be, you know, going gaga over the little things that that most people might. I'll be very critical. I'm very excited, but I am going to keep an eyebrow raised as if it's high noon and we're about to have a duel. That's how I'm gonna be tackling this, because I loved Resident Evil 2 2019. It was great. It wasn't perfect. I definitely don't think it's one of the best in the series. I think it's one of the greatest games this year, if not the greatest. But I wouldn't put it above Resi 1, 2, 3, Remake, maybe not even 0. But Remake 3, even back when this game was brand new, people were saying, why release it on a PlayStation 1? PlayStation 2 is coming out this year. Why release it on a PlayStation 1? This is potentially an open world game in a way. You know, you're running around Raccoon City, and they put it on a PS1. So even 20 years ago, fans, at least fans that I knew, friends that I had, we talked about that. Like, why isn't this on the PS2 coming out in 8 months? Of course, it was a Sony deal that prevented that, I believe. Three PlayStation 1 Resident Evils were in contract or something. So, having said that, I think Resident Evil 3 Nemesis Remake has the potential to be everything I've ever wanted in Nemesis. I love Nemesis, but it could always be improved upon. Whereas Remake 2 was kind of fighting uphill because Resident Evil 2 is basically perfect. Other than that, let's get into it. You know, if you want to follow me on Twitch, links are below. And I played Resident Evil games pretty damn often, including Resi 3, because Jill will be the best. Oh, I haven't seen a second of this yet, actually. No, not 1 second.
You gotta stay strong. Don't give in to fear out there, right?
Leon? Ada?
Did this?
All right, calm down, buddy. Calm down.
Send reinforcements. No, wait, hurry up.
What?
Help me.
420? Yeah? Oh! They're actually doing the timeline right. Resi 3 takes place before Resi 2 for the most part. Got some Mirror's Edge going on. Barricading Resi 4. Makes sense. Going through apartment buildings? Oh, fuck. Run, girl.
Jill, over here.
What the hell? How could this many people be infected?
This city is completely
That me,
cut
Kyle?
off, isolated.
Don't look at me like that, all right? I'm not infected.
But right now it's got a hard-on for the only 2 stars left in town.
They don't need a bleeding heart like you getting in the way.
Hey! Carlos.
Star's office has to be in this direction.
Gets worse every night.
They don't want the world to know what they've done.
Oh, my head.
What's wrong with Umbrella?
Get in!
I can't stop them all.
You gotta get out of there.
You guys are the ones who caused all of this.
No, wait!
Oh, come on.
We've got to be dreaming.
Whoa, fuck. What was that about?
Commitment, honesty, integrity, these are the core values that create the foundation for Umbrella Corp.
Damn. Alright. April 3rd, 2020. I didn't even realize that was the release date for a second. I was just staring at it. That's coming? Resistance is coming with Remake 3? Pre-order now? Ah, well, I guess I have to fucking pre-order. As if that wasn't going to happen. Oh, dude. Alright. That was wild. So, before I replay it for a second, what did we just see? Starts off in first person. Then we get the reveal. It shows the outbreak grown. And we get an introduction or reintroduction to Carlos, Mikhail, Nikolai. I don't know. I don't recognize the dude who was on the ground saying he's not infected. Don't look at me like that. I'm not infected. You know, we got Brad Vickers. We got them all. One of the things we talked about, I'm going to play this back with the sound very low. One of the things we talked about on the stream the other night was how I didn't want Remake 3 to be as bare bones story. Resident Evil Remake 2 removed some of the details. It felt like it was missing a lot of story. This, from the trailer, I'm not giving it any hype yet. From the trailer, it seems like they are actually expanding upon the characters. And some psychological things going on with Jill at the end. This is weird. They also showed a lot of first person. I don't know if that means there's going to be a first person mode. Personally, I'm against it. I don't know if that's going to be a first person mode or if it's just, you know, theatrics. Here's our sexy new trailer, you know. They're showing Remake 2 here as they go through the time. So this was happening while Jill was fast asleep. Spoilers, but if you haven't played Resi 3, Jill gets knocked out for several days, or for a while at least. And during that time, all of Resident Evil 2 takes place. So this is before and potentially after Resident Evil Remake 2. You notice here, Jill barricades the door, Resident Evil 4 style, with the village. Which, if Nemesis is going to be chasing you as a fast attacker, it makes sense that you need to be able to slow him down. Plus, climbing through windows, potentially not open world, of course, but showing that maybe we will be going through doors and windows and basically trying to create a bigger sense of an alive world. Now I'm going to pause it here and give my first negative.
Jill, over here!
I don't think she looks good. I think she looked cool in the leak, but here she looks a little weird. In fact, in one of the leaks that was released, she looks better. I don't know how early game this is. It's coming out in April. It can't be that late. But it also she looks kind of teabagged. You know, you know, her skin looks plasticky. It looks kind of soft. I don't know if this is in game. I don't think this looks from this trailer. I don't think the graphics look as good as Remake 2. And I'm not talking about the facial features. A lot of people complain about Claire looking weird. But I'm not talking about that. I'm thinking like overall, it looks kind of smudgy. It looks, I'm just not impressed by it overall. I'm glad they kept Jill's original hair. A lot of people are annoyed that she doesn't look like the model that they used for Remake and 5. But yeah, I miss her too. But you know, Julia Vaughn or something like that. But overall, I'm all right with it. It's just graphically, I'm not blown away. Of course, I think this game's going to be coming out on the PS5 like 6 months later. So, you know, who knows? Who knows? Next thing we see here is something I do like a lot. That is beautiful. I'm enjoying the colors. It's a very different look to Resident Evil. For me, it's it reminds me. You know, this might sound like I'm saying it in a negative way, but it reminds me of China in Resident Evil 6. You know, neon lights and stuff. But thinking back to Raccoon City, Resi 3, there were a good few neon signs going around there, especially in the back alleyways. And if we're thinking, you know, like if you look up here, the top left, there's a yellow sign. Bottom right, there's pink and blue. Or maybe those lights for the pink are coming from the police car. But if we're thinking to Resident Evil 3, you're going through the back alleys, and there's still a lot of neon signs. So how many is going to be in the main street? Should we visit those?
What the
So it looks pretty damn beautiful there.
affected?
And that line, how did he all get affected? I don't know if that's placed in, if that's making Jill look kind of stupid, or if that's making her genuinely surprised, because the outbreak kind of came out of nowhere, but at the same time it was a gradual build. So you're having Jill saying, how did this happen so fast? How did so many get infected? Dude, you're a cop. You should know all these reports building over the last week, you know? But at the same time, if you keep up with the Resident Evil lore, the outbreak did kind of break out pretty fast, actually. So she could have gone to work, seen there was a new infection, been like, oh damn, did her thing, did her own thing, went home, 8 hours sleep, come back, suddenly it's gone up by 10 times, and then you're shocked. So it makes sense. It makes sense. This is Mikhail. Definitely looks like Mikhail. He's older looking than he is in Resident Evil 3. And he's injured from the looks of it, like he is in Resident Evil 3. So we know how that's going to go. And he's a mercenary along with Nikolai, who's a grey-haired man you'll see in a second, and Carlos, sent in by Umbrella. If you look at his little beret at the top, he has the Umbrella symbol, to gather data. Of course, I'm not going into the story, but some things go down.
City is completely cut off, isolated.
And that's the tram that they're on, so that's pretty cool. If you look back here, there's someone in the back there behind the door. I don't know who that is though. It's not Jill. He's probably talking to Jill. There's two people in the door. So one of the things I mentioned on stream the other day, I would love if there was more characters alive and more characters you can speak to throughout the game that are working with Nikolai and Carlos. Because you meet Nikolai, you meet Carlos, and you meet Mikhail, and they're all just doing their own thing. But there's so many other of these agents around the city, these mercenaries around the city, that whenever you meet them, they're either about to die or straight up dead. And I was thinking it'd be cool if we all gathered around as a team inside the tram and we were given our orders, and maybe we learned a little bit about the personalities, and then when they died 5 minutes later, you're like, oh damn, I like that guy, why is he dead? Instead of just coming across someone who just got a bullet to the head already. So potentially things we've been speaking about for the last few weeks are showing their heads in this trailer a little bit. There's elements of it.
Don't look at me like that, alright? I'm not infected.
Now who the hell is that guy? Who is that guy? Does anybody know? Is he a character we already know that's been redesigned? Some skinny young dude? Is he just a civilian? Like, who is this guy?
Don't look at me like that, alright?
I have no idea who this man is.
I'm not infected.
But right now it's got a hard...
That's Brad Vickers, the helicopter pilot of Stars from Resident Evil 1. And the first guy that... he introduces us to Jill's new boyfriend. That's all I'll say. You know, good hairline. He got a good hairline. Kind of pudgy looking, but he's Brad Vickers. I wouldn't expect him to be built like a tank, so his appearance is definitely appreciated. I do like his design quite a bit. His top's a little clean, but this seems like it might be before the outbreak really goes down. If you look to the left and the right, there's people running. So this is probably going to explore, because they showed the clock at the beginning, this is probably going to explore not just the event of Resident Evil 3, but perhaps elements of Resident Evil Outbreak, Resident Evil 2, and then Resident Evil 3. Right now, I don't know how long the game's going to be, but this trailer paints it like it's going to be, at least the timeline is going to be pretty heavy.
Hard on for the only 2 stars left in town.
They don't need a bleeding heart like
That guy right there, that's Nikolai. He is
a bleeding heart.
one of the central characters. I'm not going to go into too heavy spoilers if you are new, but he is one of the central characters to Resident Evil 3. And in Resident Evil 3, there is multiple options, multiple scenarios you can go with, like jumping off a bridge or pushing an enemy off the bridge or jumping out a window or pulling the brakes or whatever, you know? And 1 or 2 of the scenarios you choose drastically change how the end of the game goes. And Nikolai plays a huge part in that. So I want to know if scenarios are coming back.
Heart like you getting in the way.
Now this guy, I think I recognize him. Umbrella, nice. This guy, if you've played Resi 3, I think this is the guy you meet in the hospital section during the middle part of the game, towards the end of the game. Not gonna go into what happens with him, but he opens a safe on the wall in one scenario. Like I said, scenarios change things. In one scenario, he opens a safe on the wall, and some surprises do be there. So I think that's that guy there, and it looks like we're getting some cutscenes. This is what I wanted. This is what I'm excited for.
Star's office has to be in this direction.
Gets worse every night.
Can I go back to that?
Direction. Star's office has to be in this direction.
Is that Carlos's voice? And is he voiced by a white American guy again whose accent's going to disappear at random? I don't know anything about accents. I can't pick up on accents very well. But at first it sounds like he's very white. He sounds like a very white dude, and then he tries to, direction. He tries to put a little emphasis on it.
They don't need a bleeding heart like you getting in the way.
Star's office has to be in this direction.
Gets worse every night.
Gets worse every night. She just said that. So, yeah, it's probably going through the timeline quite a bit. It's not just going to be, this is my last escape, my last chance, where it takes place immediately as Jill says, I'm out, I'm gone, see ya. It's going to gradually, or maybe if it's a 2-hour game, it's going to show the events and make you go through them. Maybe through cutscenes, maybe through gameplay. But I think this is a game where the difficulty and the enemy count is going to ramp up as the game goes through.
They don't want the world to know what they've done.
Oh, my head.
I have no idea. Who is that? Let me hire that up.
Know what they've done.
Who the hell is that?
They don't.
Who is that? That's not William Birkin. Is this a new character? Some old guy who doesn't want the world to know what they've done? Is he one of the reporters that you come across in diary form? You come across like notes and stuff, and maybe he's working with Ben from Resi 2,
Want the world to know what they've done.
or a scientist.
My head.
What's wrong with Umbrella?
I really like Carlos's new appearance. I don't know how I feel about this line though. It's definitely a change in character right here. What's wrong with Umbrella? In the original, Jill calls out Umbrella. This is their fault. They've done all this. And Carlos is like, hey, relax, lady, man. I just been sent here. I'm just a mercenary. Don't be yelling at me. I just work here, all right? You know? He seems a little defensive of Umbrella here. I don't know what that's about. Maybe they're building some camaraderie with the rest of the mercs working with Carlos and Nikolai. Maybe they're like the kind of stars team of this game now, where they're brothers in arms, and they've worked together in the past, and they actually care about each other. So they're like, hey, what's wrong with Umbrella? Why are you hating on Umbrella? We have been through so much together, you know? I don't know what the scientists are doing over in, Pakistan or whatever, but right here, these dudes, these are my brothers, man. Maybe that's where he's going with it. If you listen to him, he seems very defensive.
My head.
What's wrong with Umbrella?
I can't stop.
Here we go. If you notice here, this reminds me a lot of Resident Evil Mercenaries and Resident Evil 6. That is a negative to say. But Resident Evil 3 is the most action-packed of the original, like, 5, the classic Resident Evils, actually. It's the most action-packed of the classic Resident Evils. 1, 2, Code Veronica, Remake, 0. It's definitely the most action-packed. So it's probably appropriate. All we get to see is this, like, 3-second clip of gameplay. I don't know what that's going to mean for sure. If you look at Jill's bottom left shoulder, well, I got her right shoulder here, but the bottom left of the screen is blurred right now. That's probably a YouTube thing, but it is going back to the graphics being kind of smudged for me.
I can't.
You know, it's like kind of low resolution up close. We'll see how it turns out. It's coming out in April. They can change all that later. We got, that background. You know where that is? That's the electronic place where you have to open the 2 doors to get a key item for the tram, and either the Magnum or the rocket launcher, or grenade launcher, I should say. Yeah, that's where that is, right in the back.
Stop them all.
You gotta get out of there.
And right there, so yeah, it is very Mercenaries like.
I can't stop them all.
You gotta get out.
Yeah, there's the gates falling down. Brad's telling us to leave.
You guys are the ones who caused all of this.
No, wait. Oh, come on.
Who caused all of this?
If you look at this,
Stop them all.
You gotta get out of there.
You guys are the ones.
that seems like faster movement in Remake 2. That's one thing we spoke about on stream. Jill in Resident Evil 3 is very fast gameplay, very quick, very arcadey, very fun. And it needs to be that way because unlike Mr. X, Nemesis, he can sprint. You know, he'll run your ass down. Hence the barricade feature, potentially barricade feature. But Resident Evil 3 needs to be faster. It needs to have fast gameplay. It needs to be fast paced. What I'm saying is, this game is going to be fun as hell to run through over and over again. Just like the original. It seems that way right now. It doesn't seem slow. Doesn't seem heavy. Though I don't see any puzzles up in this bitch. Where are my puzzles at, man?
Who caused all of this?
No, wait. Oh, come on.
We've got to be dreaming.
No, that is weird. So maybe some kind of stress disorder. Jill went through the events of Resident Evil 1. She lost many of her co-workers. She ended up getting mocked by Chief Irons when she came back. Chris Redfield, one of her only surviving partners, and Barry Burton both skipped town basically as soon as they returned home. Rebecca went AWOL also. So Jill is the only one, and along with Brad, from the original Resident Evil that was around for Resident Evil 3. So she's feeling more alone than ever. She's literally trapped in a city of death. Something more powerful than anything else in the city is out to kill her, especially. They're just targeting her ass. And if this is how she sees herself in the mirror, if she's freaking out, if she's having some kind of psychological breakdown, I don't think the game's going to delve into that stuff. Capcom don't really go deep into those kind of themes, but they might hint at a little bit here and there. I could see this being very interesting moment. Yeah, I think it looks really cool. Stars. Anything else?
Commitment.
It goes back to first person here. I don't know what they're doing with that. This is a hospital section, maybe. It looks like a hospital, Umbrella-owned hospital.
Honesty. Integrity.
Restricted access. Oh, my bad. This is Nemesis himself. So this is this is probably a flashback before the game starts, or maybe because the game is seemingly shown the outbreak grow, maybe this isn't a flashback before the game starts. Maybe this happens a few minutes into the game after we've already experienced a zombie fight, after we've experienced opening cutscenes with Brad and maybe Marvin or whoever else from RPD before it really goes down. Maybe Nemesis doesn't show up for a little bit. That'd be pretty cool. Mr. X didn't show up for a little bit in Remake 2, a scenario. Maybe they do something with that only a bit earlier. Who knows?
Are the core values that create the foundation for Umbrella Corp.
Damn. April 3rd, huh? And pre-order for the costumes. Oh yeah, and Resistance. But who cares about that? So I think yeah, that's it. I think that's where I'm going to leave that. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm cautious, like I said. Resident Evil 3 is easily a game they could make amazing. Let's see, pros and cons of what I just watched. I'll start with the cons first because it's always good to leave things on a positive note. The graphics I'm not blown away by. I'm not impressed by even. I'm a little disappointed by the graphics from this trailer, actually. The Raccoon City that we're looking at doesn't have much of a personality to me. I like the neon lights, but we haven't seen much of it. I always found it weird that Remake 2 took place in a big skyscraper having city. The original Raccoon City, it's big, it has 100,000 people, but it's not really a skyscraper size city. I think they used Vancouver or something for it, right? I don't know what Vancouver looks like. Maybe it's like a small little town. But yeah, I'm cautious about what the gameplay is going to be. I'm cautious of what the everything's going to be, actually. Very cautious going into it. Positives, everything story-wise that I've seen in this video blows me away. And I mean that. Everything story-wise I'm looking at and I'm like, dude, I can't wait. The very stuff I spoke about Resident Evil 3 the other day. Expanding the characters, more interaction with the characters, with Jill, with each other. It all showed up in this video, this trailer. So even if everything that happens in the game, interaction-wise, happened in this trailer, which it didn't, because there's many cutscenes from the original that's missing that we didn't get looked into, we didn't get shown. But even if that were the case, it's already more than Resident Evil 3 had. And that's amazing. One big positive I can say coming away from this is people, Resident Evil fans, and light fans too, not really the heavier fans, the bigger fanboys in the series, but some people say Resident Evil 3 is like an expansion pack. It's like DLC to Resident Evil 2. And that's not true. Resident Evil 3 has better graphics, more FMVs, full motion videos, cutscenes back in the day, more impressive cutscenes at that. It has an entire different layout. You go to the police department for like 5 minutes, and people say, oh, Resident Evil 3 is a rehash because of that. Just because of that. Resident Evil 3 is the reason, or the first moment in the series we got the quick turn. We got dodge mechanics. We have the ability to fuse ammo, which came back for Remake 2. Resident Evil 3 started a lot of things. And just because it doesn't have a main story, a storyline progression the series, it doesn't have the Resident Evil 1 or the Resident Evil 2 level of change or what's going to happen next. It's more of the city's gone to hell, we need to get out of here kind of story. It's not focused heavily on Umbrella, even though they are the source of all the evil that's going down. It's not an expansion. Resident Evil 3 is a full-fledged sequel, and it's very ignorant to say otherwise. So from looking at this, it seems like those people really have egg on their faces, because this sure as hell looks like a sequel. Definitely. And I'm very excited for it. I'm cautious. Very cautious. Like I said, I'm a big Resident Evil fan, but I'm not a blind fan, you know. I'm one of the fans that will nitpick a series to death. Yeah, I love this. So let me point out everything I like and dislike instantly. Yeah. Very happy it's not in first person. Very happy it's Resident Evil 3 as we know it. From the looks of it, very happy, super happy about the extended story. Not happy with, not pleased with one or two elements. Not impressed by the graphics. Jill, I don't think Jill looks as hot as Claire does in Remake 2, which isn't something you should care about. You know, she could look like Rosie O'Donnell, and at the end of the day, that's all that should matter. But it's not my favorite looking Jill. Carlos, I think, looks actually amazing. A lot of people don't like Carlos, but yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm hoping there's hunters. I'm hoping there's spiders. I'm hoping there's a couple of lickers, demos or whatever the hell they're called, brain suckers, Resident Evil 3 exclusive enemies. Stupid ass gravedigger, giant worm. There's a lot of enemies, a lot of potential. Dogs have been confirmed by this trailer, so we'll see what it's like. Yeah, Resident Evil 3 is also RNG heavy, very random. I want to know if that's going to come back. Scenario is going to come back, and birds. Resident Evil 2 removed a lot of enemies, and Resident Evil 3 needs to bring them back. It really does. Otherwise, this Resident Evil engine Capcom's using needs to go in the trash, because that's from what I've heard, that's the reason why we don't get those things. The engine they're using is no good for the finer details of spiders walking on walls and stuff, even though the lickers existed. And fix the reflections, man. Fix the reflections. The reflections look great in this trailer. In Remake 2, the reflections be bouncing off everything, looking like broken glass. But that is my very excited, but also very cautious and amused reaction to Resident Evil Remake 3. I've been your host, Chris, K-R-I-S, none of that CH crap. If you are a fan of Resident Evil and a fan of streams, I play Resident Evil games quite frequently over on Twitch, link below, twitch.tv/loversgaming. And follow the channel, and we can talk more about Resident Evil in the near future. Plus, I'll be playing it non-stop when this game comes out. So, yeah, it's gonna be a blast. See y'all later. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and you can follow me on Patreon, because that helps to keep the channel going, and I'd much appreciate it. Bye, everybody. See you later. Damn. Nemesis, huh?